Okay, tonight we're going to be showing a presentation about the field of Taiwan. So this is not focused specifically on our ministry, but it's a little bit more informative. It tells you a little bit about Taiwan, the culture, the language, and the background. So I hope it'll be a blessing to you.
The mystique that is China, a land of beauty and grandeur, an exotic fusion of ancient and modern, a culture where written history dates back almost 4,000 years, a land of densely populated cities where West and East have come together in a blend of towering skyscrapers and traditional pagodas, a lifestyle where culture and religion are intimately tied together, unencumbered by political, ideological, or religious restrictions. An open society with a government that provides free and fair multi-party democratic elections. This is the Republic of China. This is Taiwan. Several nations have governed the island of Taiwan throughout its history. The Dutch called it Formosa, the beautiful isle, and claimed it as a colony in 1642. By 1683, China had taken control and would retain it for over 200 years. In 1895, Taiwan was handed over to Japan. For the next 50 years, only Japanese was taught in the school system, and the Taiwanese people were forced to adopt Japanese names. With the defeat of Japan in World War II, Taiwan once more became a part of China, but China was in the middle of a civil war. When the war ended in 1949, the victorious Communist Party established the People's Republic of China on the mainland, while Chiang Kai-shek and his followers fled to Taiwan and created the Republic of China. Only 90 short miles separate these two Chinas. While they are very similar culturally, these two nations have headed down distinctly different roads. Both are covered in spiritual darkness, and both present major challenges when it comes to evangelization. Over the last 50 years, the government of Taiwan has slowly moved from a dictatorial state to a democratic republic. This has brought about unhindered economic development, political liberalization, and an open door for the preaching of the gospel. An open door, not an easy door. Economically, free enterprise has motivated the Taiwanese people to create both individual and national wealth. And as you move through its modern, crowded cities, it's easy to confirm that they have succeeded. Taiwan is a wealthy nation, and materialism has become a dominant part of the cultural fabric. In a society where culture and religion are tied together, the worship of money and the things money can buy has smoothly blended prosperity into their religious practices.
The people of Taiwan are very friendly people. They're very polite on the surface. They've been friendly towards Americans in particular. But at the same time, they have been very resistant to the gospel. This has been one of the difficulties here, is that as we have got to know many people here and made friendships, had opportunities over long periods of time to develop relationships with people, it's still difficult to find people that are willing to trust Christ and become a Christian.
In Taiwan, there are many gods. I worship with my mom to many temples, and we have many kinds of temples, and in each temple they have different kind of gods.
Everything can become some kind of spirit or some kind of god or goddess. Even a tree, a stone can be worshipped.
You go into the temples. The temples are filled with many different idol statues.
We are used to worship at a model. We need to see the shape, and then we know it exists.
Folk religion here in Taiwan would accept many different deities that are held in a more of a superstitious way. They would worship them more out of fear, out of what they can do to them if they don't worship them, than out of any sense of reverence. They also worship them out of a sense of hoping to gain something from their God.
They are afraid that if they do not bargain with this kind of gods or goddess, then their life can go into big trouble. So they try to make deals with them.
When we worship, we offer food, and then we also burn paper money for God to stand.
They also think that this kind of gods and goddess can be bribed. Many people in Taiwan try to, how shall I say, they try to buy a better life for the next life, because when they earn money, and then they will go to attend some religious activities to donate some money, and then they believe, according to their religious understanding, they can earn a better life for the next life.
Chinese culture is a group culture, which means that they are going to avoid doing anything that would stand out from the crowd, doing anything different from what people before them have done or what people around them are doing. And so, to them, the most important relationships that they have are the relationships with their family.
I consider my family in my life is important.
My mother and my father, yeah, they are very important in my life.
My parents, my wife, my children.
Why is that? Because I'm the only child, and they really love me. They give everything that they can give me. Yeah.
And therefore, for them to abandon their traditional beliefs, even though they are not deeply held from the heart, would bring them into conflict with their family and their peers.
Ancestors are also a force which Taiwanese people dare not to anger. They think that if they anger the ancestor, the ancestor may punish them, even their children. They punish them with bad luck. It's very bad if someone dare not to worship their ancestor.
Evangelism in this culture always takes time and patience. This is a relational culture, which means that you're not going to be able to use many of the traditional methods that we've used in the U.S. So, first of all, there needs to be a relationship established and a level of trust in which you can communicate the gospel within that relationship. What we've seen is that the people that we've seen come to the Lord here through our ministry have taken anywhere from a year to 3 years before they understand, first of all, because they're filtering everything that we say through their cultural grid. So there's a period of time before they really understand it and are willing to respond to that with faith in the gospel. So you have to be willing to build long-term relationships and give the gospel over a period of time. Many parents will flat out forbid their children to become a Christian. Many times in my experience, we've had opportunities to build relationships with people, witness to them, evangelize them, and they'll come to a place where their parents will take note of the fact that they're being influenced, and they will simply say, don't even consider becoming a Christian, and that will be the end. There will be no consideration of that after that point. Building people rather than trying to build a ministry. We focused on developing individuals and helping them to grow in their Christian walk and focusing on what exactly do they believe and not just how do they behave. But I do think that there are certain character qualities that enable a person to be successful here. One of them has to be the long-term view. There needs to be a willingness to take a long-term developmental approach to ministry to others, instead of the idea that I'm going to come, I'm going to build something, and then I'm going to leave. That is oftentimes what churches expect. And yet it's going to take a longer period of time than that. And there needs to be that willingness to be patient. There needs to be a genuine love for people so that you can minister to them at their level, and also to help them to grow to a point where these teachings and these beliefs and these doctrines and these truths are something that they personally see from Scripture and that they personally have internalized so that they become their own beliefs and not just the missionaries' beliefs. So I think there needs to be the patience. I think there does need to be a zeal for evangelism. I think that that is always an important thing. But that zeal needs to be tempered with the ability to take the long-term approach.
I think the way to preach the gospel is the truth. We can only tell them the truth. Tell them you may suffer. To be a Christian may not guarantee your successful career life or turn out to be rich, but you have abundant spiritual life.
Taiwan is only 90 miles from mainland China. So in culture, in language, and in geographical proximity, Taiwan is an excellent vantage point from which to launch ministry into mainland China. And one of the reasons for that is because Taiwan is a free society. It is a democratic nation. It has free and open religious expression and political expression. And therefore, we are free to participate in evangelism openly, to be able to engage in church ministries openly. And in this way, we have a vantage point from which to train nationals that are already in the same Chinese language and culture, so that they can in turn go into mainland China and carry the gospel with them. This will take a lot of planning and a lot of time and development. It's not something that's going to just happen, but it is a powerful opportunity because of the freedom with which we can train people here. There is a pool of people that would be able to cross that border into mainland China. Right now, the border is very porous. We have many businessmen that are crossing those borders daily. They've established factories and they have business investments, and they're traveling back and forth. There are people with family members that live in mainland China, and they're traveling back and forth. And so travel for the nationals is really not a problem. For us as a foreigner, anywhere we go into China, we're going to be marked. Our faces set us apart immediately. But for a Taiwanese, there are not those distinctions that are apparent, and it'd be much easier for them to be able to minister in their own culture, in their own language, and to be very effective in reaching into mainland China. In fact, there are already many people in Taiwan that are focused on that ministry and go regularly into mainland China for ministry purposes.
Taiwan is a modern, progressive country, tightly tied to its past through ancestral worship, a culture where materialism has woven itself into the fabric of its religious beliefs and practices, a land of religious freedom where family and cultural ties make the work of the gospel slow and difficult, a place of false religion, idolatry, spiritism, and superstition. Yet Taiwan is also a place where God is faithfully working to build his church, where small congregations are growing in their understanding of his word, a place where lives are being transformed by the power of the gospel. What about you? Do you have a heart for the Chinese people? Are you searching for a challenging and rewarding ministry? Are you ready to invest your life in a long-term ministry commitment? Is God calling you to Taiwan?